tree. I'm just sitting here, I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together, it's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Greetings, Glitter Gang, and welcome back to Kathryn Scraps Live. My name is Kathryn, and this is our first crafting show in the new house. So, this is the first time that I'll be crafting live from the new house. I just warned everyone in the chat. Could be chaotic. We're at more like 80% than 100 in terms of getting things totally set up, perfected, etc. And we're not going to be working on the Hip to Be Square Part 2 yet because it didn't survive the move. So here's the pieces and parts of it. You can see that it's all wrinkled and crumpled and such. I'm going to try and flatten it under my mat and see if I can salvage it, but even the scraps are curled because of how it was packed. So we're not going to work on it today. And so what I've decided to do is I'm just going to insert a, hey, thanks for hanging in there. Welcome back to Kathryn Scraps Live, free project that I will put the recordings up for on the YouTube channel. It'll also be in the archives, of course, but recordings will be in the YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, and this is your first time seeing me, welcome. Thanks for watching. What you're watching is a recording of a live show. These live shows do have 15 minutes of music at the beginning, so just like skip past that when you're going through the playlist when you see it. And I have a playlist, or will be creating a playlist for all these shows, so they'll all go in there so you can just watch the whole thing. All right, so what we're going to be doing today, I've named it the Spring Pocket album. That's what it's currently called right now. Actually, it's currently called Free Album Tutorial Spring Pocket Album Free Album Tutorial because I decided to move Free Album Tutorial from the beginning to the middle and then didn't delete it from the beginning. So there you go. So that's what you're looking at if you're watching live. If you're watching in the recording, it'll probably be called something else. But I just moved states a month ago. It's been chaos getting set up. So we're just going to ease back in. We're just going to like gently get ourselves back into crafting. Gently get ourselves in there. So I know that is a long name. It's a very long name. So that's probably why we're going to change it. That's probably why. And so one of the things I recommend for y'all when I don't broadcast for a minute because of whatever, in this case a move, but that you can always go into the archives if you have an archives membership, because there are tons and tons and tons of tutorials with measurements included in the archives with your membership if you have an archives membership. And one of the ones that I recommend a lot, especially if you need a gift album, something really quick and easy, is, we are gonna need new diffusers on the lights. I think we're a little bright. But, okay, we'll just, it is what it is for today. And until I can turn the wattage down on them maybe too. I think I'm not going to mess around with it today. We'll just leave it. But, yeah. So one of the albums that I recommend is the 6x8 album. And the reason I recommend the 6x8 album a lot is because it's really easy, very simple. You just fold a 12x12 page into 6x8 page with 2 pockets on either side, and if you're feeling really frisky, you can close up that interior piece and you can make a 3rd pocket if you add some tape. And I thought to myself, what if I took this really easy, simple album that works for every occasion and for every level of crafter, and I made it less simplistic-ier? If I made it more complicated, harder to do, take longer, requires more tools, more effort, more skill, and all of that, wouldn't that be the perfect reintroduction to the Kathryn Scraps brand? Because that is be a theme is that I write tutorials or album basics guides for simple, easy things like the 6x8 quick and easy album, and then I like turn them into in the case, the generational memory album, which was huge and beautiful and wonderful. But just to give you an example of how you can take these simpler projects and you can expand out on them. Now, just as a, I don't know, just like an FYI, for those of you who've been watching for a number of years, we are at this time, you're a little higher than you normally would be, as in less zoomed in. Normally we'd be zoomed in one more tick on the camera than we are right now. You're also a little bit farther back this way. Okay, so normally you're more here, and now you're more back there. And that has to do with the type of rig we had to get because of the change in the room or whatever. I have purchased a little tiny boom arm for the camera so I can push the camera out a few inches. Hopefully after I've pushed it out a few inches, I can then zoom in one more tick and it'll look like it always looked. But it just finding a tiny little boom arm strong enough for the camera, whatever, we did it, it's coming. But again, like I said, we're at 80%, not 100. We'll get there. All right, but just so you know, if it looks a little bit different, it's not your imagination. It does look a little bit different. Okay, so I had the idea. Let's do a spring, summer, whatever, like bright, colorful album. I pulled out the Soleil paper pack from Basic Gray. All this is from like just random papers I found while I was unpacking. I've got the Pier from Crepe Paper. I've got Composition and Color from Allison Craft. And I have this one, The Avenues by Bo Bunny. Probably not going to use it. Because it's just, these ones are more, these three kind of vibe with each other more than this one. So I'm going to take this one out. So let's make a 6x8 album. Okay. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pick this is a roll of Velcro. Oh, so what's funny about the glass mat is the old glass mat has been located, and guess what? The new glass mat has not. So we are still, we still only have one glass mat, in the irony of all ironies. But here it is, the old glass mat, the tonic glass mat. It has been located, so we do have it. The new glass mat in the wind. It's probably in the box labeled nails and stuff that I haven't checked because it says it's labeled nails and stuff. So my sister's like, you should probably check that box every time you look for stuff, because what if it's not nails? And then I just don't do it because she said it's the only box I never look in. So she's like, everything that you're missing is in that box. She's like, she knows it. She knows it in her heart. One night she's just going to come and like dump it on my desk. I'm going to walk in and that's what I'm going to see. If I get echoey or something like that around the room, because I'm looking for something. I already forgot what I'm looking for. So maybe if I sit down, I'll remember what it was. Cool. So, oh, I just remembered. See, I did need to sit down. That's what happens when you're 1,000 years old like I am. Okay. All right. The missing album is still missing. So, we have a new missing item in that okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how the 6x8 album works, so that if you've never seen it before, you can, where the heck is the white piece of cardstock that I put on my desk to show you how the album works? Okay, I'll just get another one. It's fine. Oh, here it is. Okay. Whee! If this is your first time here, I'm so sorry. So Sorry. Okay, so this is a 12 by 12 paper. And to make the 6 by 8 album, it's super simple. All you have to do is you just score it in half at 6 inches. That makes the 6 part. Okay. Then flip it over so you can see that the 6 by 6 score line is still running up and down, and then turn it so it's not running up and down and score at 8. All right. And then all we're going to do is fold. Fold, fold, fold. Okay, then you just fold it. Oh, I don't have any bone folders. Wonder where those guys are. All right, well, if you find yourself in a situation where you don't have a bone folder, you can pretty much use anything that's kind of flat, smooth, shiny. And pen caps work, actually. So just some shiny plastic of some kind. You can use your fingernail, but I want a little pressure. Oh, a spoon also works. Just anything really smooth, Okay, so this is what it is. Now you just bind it right here. Okay, you bind it right here, and that gives you a pocket and a pocket. And then if you want to, you can close the bottom with a piece of tape, and then this will be a pocket as well. So that's the 6 by 8 album. That's how you make it. So what we're gonna want to do is like replicate this, kind of. All right. So first off, I want the front piece here to be 4.5 or 6.5 by 4.5, because, or not, rather 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. So I'm just going to make it 7 because that's just an easier measurement. So I'll make it 5 by 7. And that way we'll be able to put 4 by 6 photo mats in it, so it can hold 4 by 6 photo mats. When we're going to make this an envelope, okay, and we'll make a button and string closure. All right, and then we'll attach it to this, which is now, the overall 7 inches across. Okay, so in terms of height, if we wanted to keep the dimensions the same as the original, it would be 10 inches in terms of like the ratio, because the pocket is half the height of the album. So we'll just go ahead and make it 10. So it's now 5 by 10. So the easy 6 by 8 pocket album, which, by the way, there's a playlist on YouTube already to see the actual easy version of this album, and that is yeah, it is. It's 7 on the bottom. That's correct. It's 7 by 5 and then 10. So the the height of the pocket is half of the height of the album. So that's where the double is. Okay, so then the Easy 6 by 8 pocket album transforms into the medium easy. So we'll call it the Measy album. The Measy, because it's medium easy. It's not like pure easy. It's medium easy. So we'll just call it the Measy album. The Measy 7 by 10 album. Okay, it's the Measy 7 by 10 pocket album. Okay, so now we have our name. Okay, so now we're making the Measy 7 by 10 pocket album. So for this 5 by 7 pocket, let's talk about how we're going to attach it. We're going to attach it with a paper hinge here on the bottom and a paper hinge here on the side, but not here, because we want to be able to kind of pull it, pull it forward like in the original, so we can easily stuff things back there. So that means for every single one of these pockets, these are going to be the pieces that we need. So we're going to need 1 2-inch by 7-inch hinge. We're going to need 1 2-inch by 5-inch hinge. And then we're going to need 1 and then... All right, so we know it's 7 inches wide. Actually, and for the envelope now. So the envelope is 7 inches wide. So the front piece... Let's just make the front piece 7 by 7. If we make the front piece 7 by 7, then we can score it at on the one 7-inch side at 1 and 6, and that will give us a 5-inch piece in the middle. And then we can score the other one. Oh no, it doesn't need to be by 7. It needs to be 7 by 5. Just kidding. 7 by 5. 7 by 5. Look, I came up with this idea this morning. Okay, I came up with the idea to redo a free album from the archives last night when I discovered my paper was ruined, and I would have reprinted paper because I have that paper to print, except the printer's not hooked up. So that's what I mean when I say we're not at 100 quite yet. So, all right, so 7 by 5. 7 inches across, 5 inches down. When we scored it at 4 inches, that's going to drop this down an inch, and then you'll be able to get stuff in and out of the pocket easier. Wait, do I want to do that? No, I want to make a different kind of pocket. This whole measurement is like made up. Let's do 7 by 5 7/8. And we'll score it at 4 7/8 is what we'll do. Okay. All right, and then so that'll be the pocket, and then that's the front. And then now we need the back and the flap. So the back is 5 by 7. That's easy. And then the flap is, we want to come down, I'm going to say 2.5. So it's 7 inches across, 5 plus, so it's 7.5 by, so it's 7 inches across, so it's 7 by 7.5. Compared to the measurements for this, see how we're already in the zone. Okay, and then we just need a scrap for buttons. And we could actually probably, if we wanted to, take that scrap from the base page. Okay, now, so that's that front pocket. That's now an envelope pocket. So it is a pock-velope. It's a pock-velope. All right, so that's what it is. So in our pock-velope and its attachments we've got. So now the choice is, do we want to attach it to just a piece of 10 by 10? Or do we want to make it more complicated? More complicated. All right, and I think that we know we're going to make it more complicated. So since we already did an envelope, let's not do an envelope. What else could we do? I mean, we could do a different type of envelope in that we could do like this type of envelope. And actually looking at it there, it doesn't look totally terrible. But I think what I'd rather do maybe is something like, let me draw it here. So like this would be what we would call the base page. Okay. And then here on either side of it, we're looking at it through the spine, right? Okay, so we're looking at it like through the spine. Try to imagine. So this is the main page. This is the one that's 7 by 10. Okay, this is the 7 by 10 piece, and these are our two pockvelopes. The one that goes on the front of it and the one that goes on the back of it. Now, what if we took, let's see, this is 5, this is 10. So what if we made at like 7.5 another little pocket? So then what we would have is you could put stuff down in here in between the base page and the little pocket we made, and you could put stuff down in here in between the pocketvelope and the pocket. And then you can put stuff here inside the pocketvelope. So you would actually have 3 places that you could put stuff. See, that's what I'm thinking. So to do that, we are going to need, so this is going to be base page plus, we're going to do them together, the pocket. Okay, so for the base page, that's easy. And I'm going to do, so we're going to do one that's 7 by 10. No problem. Easy peasy. Okay, so for the pocket, we need, if we want it to be 7.5 down and a pocket, we need to make it 9 inches across, because we're adding 2 inches to the 7 to get to 9. So 9, so that we can have the 2 flaps come around. So 9 by 10, so the length is 7.5, but we need to make it 8.5 because we have to close off that bottom. Okay, so that is how you do it. Technically, you need 2 of these because you need 1 for the front and 1 for the back, and you also need 2 of all of these because you need 1 for the front and 1 for the back. And I'm going to hold it up closer to the camera because I know that it's harder to see because it's farther away from you than it used to be. Okay, so all right, so there you go. So I'm just going to hold it like this. Basically, if you're watching live, you can take a screenshot. If you're watching the recording, you can pause and write it down. You know, however you want to do it, it's up to you. But there's all the measurements. So, okay. All right, well, now all we have to do is talk about binding. And I think I want to do 3 rings. So we'll have 1 ring that goes through the envelope. So we'll need to kind of like think about that when we do our envelope construction. 1 ring that's just in the middle, and 1 that goes through, 1 ring that goes through the pocket and the base page, and then the one at the top will go through just the base page. Well, I don't need to do 3 rings. I guess I could just do a normal, I'll just do an infinity binding. We'll just do infinity. Let's do 3 pages. And so to do 3 pages of something this size, we need 4 pieces that are 2.5 inches by 10. Okay, so we'll just do that. So that's the infinity binding. So, okay, so when you're coming across this in 2025 and you have no context for anything that's happening, just know at some point you're going to need this information, because I'm going to give it as I go. But if you just want to make yourself a cheat sheet of all the measurements, these are them. These are all the measurements that you need. So just pause, screenshot, go. All right, and let us pause, screenshot, go. Okay, I have a scoreboard, gonna need that. I have a paper trimmer, gonna need that. And I have a glass mat in case I need that. Not sure. All right, so I'm gonna just bring over. I ran into the trash can. I'm gonna have to get used to moving. That's another thing. Like, because the room is flipped, so everything that used to be on my right is now on my left. And all kinds of things like that. So it's just kind of gonna take getting used to. So I just crashed into the trash can. That's what happened to me. Alrighty. So let me throw this up here. Just gonna put that there, I guess. Okay, so now we need to pick our cardstock color. All the cardstock is put away in rainbow order now, including the new colors mixed in with the old colors. So that's good. So now we just need to think about what color would be fun with this. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to set this here on my desk, and then I'm just going to flip through I wish I could use this shocking pink color because I feel like I'm never going to use it for anything else. But I think the pink in the collection is a little bit warmer. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to use it. I think it's too cool. But let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's more like this one, this cyclamen. If I was going to use a pink, but even the cyclamen is a little too warm. So I don't think we'll be using a pink. And then the purple is very warm as well, so let's look at the yellows. All right, so we've got yellow, which I think would work. Bright yellow is too much. This color might be better, honey. Honey, or even this kind of caramel is kind of, maybe. Let's look at light gold over here, which is, no, I don't think so. All right, what do we need to do? Okay, I'm going to just use graphite. Basic gray, the name of the color comes from the fact that all of their paper collections were made with a base of gray versus a base of white or a base of black. Black you don't see very much out, like in graphic novels they use black, but not, most places use white. And they used gray. And so because of that, pretty much all their collections are grayish to a degree. So let's go ahead and just use gray. We'll just use graphite. I have a ton of it. We won't run out. I won't have to order anymore. And we'll be able to just like jump in. All right, so just gonna grab myself a little stack. All right, so let's start. 1, 2, 3. So we need 3 pieces for our page base. And this is the one 7 by 10. So I'm going to cut these 3 to 7 by 10. Okay. All right, so those are the 7 by 10s. And I'm left with these, which are going to be big enough to do at least some of my strips. So I'm going to, let's see, my strips need to be, oh, well, I need my 2.5 inch by 10 inch strips for my binding. Let's do those. So we've got 1, 2, 3 of those. So we just need one more, and then we'll be done with our binding. All right. So next thing is we need a total of 6 of these, the 9 inch by the 8.5 inch. My paper trimmer can reliably cut 3 sheets of this brand of cardstock at a time. By the way, this is ColorMate's Smooth and Silky in the color Graphite. And like I said, I can cut 3 at a time, so I'm going to just cut 2, to cut them twice, 2 stacks of 3 to get 6, 9 by 8, 9 by 8.5. right, so here are 3 of the 9 by 8.5 inch pieces. I'm going to cut my last 2.5 inch by 10 inch piece from this scrap here. All right, so now all of our binding strips are done. That's these. I'm going to set them all the way off camera. You won't be able to see them, but that's just so I know I'm done. All right, so I need to do 3 more of these. And again, these are the 9 by 8.5. So let me do that. All right, now those are all done. So these are all my pockets done. So I've got my spine done and my pockets done. Okay, so now I'm just going to go through my scraps and I'm going to just say, you know, what do I have that I can make strips out of, because I can definitely make strips. So I need a total of 6 2x7s and a total of 6 2x5s. Okay, I can get 2 2x5s out of each of these, so let's do these for the 2x7. So I need 1, because I have 6 of these. Yeah, I only have 5 of these because I used 1 already, so that's why we're going to double up on those. Excuse me. So on these I'm going to do them 3 at a time once again. My trimmer is the Rototrim Master Cut 2 Professional M15 is what it's called. I've had it since 2009. 2009. So it's still on its original blade. If you're looking for a trimmer to be the last trimmer you ever buy, that's the one. All right, so here's our first 3 2x7s. So I'm going to cut another 3. All right, here's the other 3. So here's the other 3. All right, so these are now done. So that's this piece right here that attaches the envelope to the pocket. All right, so now we need the 5 by 2x5s. So I'm going to cut those. I'm going to get all 6 of them out of 3 of these. All right, here's the first 3. This is a lot of cutting up front, but we're going to do the entire base, cutting, scoring, whatever. We're not going to, so we're only going to do this once. And that way, if you're watching the playlist, you know what to cut. You can cut along with me. And that way you're not going to have to remember as long. Not that you have to remember it all because you took notes, right? You were like, let me just take some notes here. Whipped out your trusty notepad that you made in a previous class. All right, here's the other 6. So we've got all the attachment pieces for the pocket done. So we've got the base page is done. We've got the pocket that goes on the base page done. We've got the 4 spine pieces. We've got the 2x7 and the 2x5 for the pocket on the front. And so we just need to do the actual pieces for the pocket itself and we're done. So we need a piece that's, and again, we need 6 of each of these. And because they're 7x7 roughly, we're going to have to use 12 sheets of cardstock for them. Let me think about it. Let me think if there's a way to change. If I make this piece for the front, no. Can't do it. Actually, let me think. Let me think how I could redo this to get. So if we made the piece for the front 5x7, then we could cut this piece out of the same sheet. We would just have to add 2 inches. So it would have to be 9 by 7.5. And actually not 9 by 7.5, but 9 by 8.5 now. And basically what I've just done is I've transferred all, aren't you glad you guys took notes and took a screenshot since I changed it? Okay, so this is now 9 by 8.5. And this is now 7 by 5. Wait, if this is now 9 by 8.5, I can't get it out of a 12 by 12. Are you laughing? Are you laughing at my math? You have no idea. This is pretty decent. It gets way worse than this. My sister's literally cackling. I don't know if you can hear her. She's like trying to smother her laughter and then she's like pretending like she wasn't laughing at my math. Okay, so, all right, let's, even if I make that front piece 5x7, I have to, those 2 inches have to go somewhere. So they go, okay, if it was 5x7, the only way to do it where I don't have to use big pieces of paper is attach with hinges. So, okay, let's think about this. Would I rather just use 12 sheets of paper to make 6 envelopes? Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, let's do this. We're going to add some hinges. So the envelope front is 5x7 and the envelope back is, the front's 7x5. I'm going to confuse myself. And then the back is 7x5 plus 2.5 for the flap and 1 inch for the bottom. So it's 7 by or it's actually 7 by 5 plus 2.5, which is 7.5, 7 by 8.5. So there's really no way to get them out of the same. Oh yeah, there is. Okay. All right, so we can get them out of the same sheet. I'm going to show you how to cut it, and then we'll just attach them to each other with strips. So, with hinges. Oh my God. Okay. All right, so let's talk about how you're going to have to cut it. I'm going to cut one on this trimmer. So the first thing you're going to do, if you want to get them each pocket out of one sheet, cut it at 5 inches. And then cut that at, technically, cut it at 7. Okay. So you have this 5x7 piece, that's the front of your pocket. We're going to do stuff to it later so it'll look more pocket-like. Then what you should be left with is a 7-inch piece that you can then cut down to 8.5. All right, and so you can see when I hold them up to each other that that's the 1 inch that's going to fold around and attach to the back, and this is the 2.5 inches that is going to fold over and form the thing. So we just need 2 2x5s to attach them to each other. Okay, 2 2x5, and we can get that out of the scraps. So we're going to save a lot of paper by doing it this way. All right, so let me go just do all of those. So I need to do 6. 1 2 3. And 5, or I'm going to do 3 and 5 because or 3 and 2 to make 5 because I need 6 total. So I'll be right back. Okay, so 5x7. That's 1, 2, and 3 from before. And then next it's 7 by 8.5. And that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let me do these. And it's 1, 2, 3, 5x7, and then 8.5 over here. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we've got all the pieces and parts for all our pockets, except for we now need 5-inch, 2-inch by 5-inch pieces, 12 of them to go on either side. So I'm going to just cut as many as I can from these scraps and be right back. Okay. So when you cut that, there is a 5x5 square left, and I was able to get 2 out of each of those, so I'm up to 6 already. So just from the 5x5 square that's left in your scraps, you can get all of them. All right, now we've got another 6, 6, that's the 12 that we need. Okay, so unless I am missing something, which, you know, just being honest, strong possibility, we're done cutting our cardstock. I said I needed some scraps at the end for punching buttons for the button closure, and here we do have those. So we are all set. We should not need any more cardstock other than for, you know, not for construction at any rate. Okay, so got there. All right, so let us now score. All right, so your first piece is your page base. It is the one that is 7 by 10. And how many 12 by 12s did I use? I used 3 for the pockets, 3 for the page bases, and 6 for the 12. I used 12. So this is a 12 cardstock project. And 12 for these pockets and the spines and all the little hinges and such. So 12 total cardstock pieces so far, which is not bad. 12 cardstock for a project, not bad. All right, so first piece is the piece that's 7 by 10. This is the base page. There's 3 of them and they're not scored, okay? Second piece is the piece that's 9 by 8.5. There's 6 of these. These are the pockets that go on either side of the base page, and they are scored. On the 9-inch side, okay, scored at 1 and at 8. So along the 9-inch edge at 1 and at 8. Okay. One, 8. All right. And then on the 8.5-inch edge, they're going to get scored at 7.5 inches. Okay, score on the 8.5-inch edge at 7.5 inches. Oh, 7.5 inches. All right, so here we go. All right, so there's 6 of these. Okay, there's 6 of these pieces. They're 9 inches by 8.5 inches long. The 9-inch edge is scored at 1 inch and 8 inches, and the 8.5-inch edge is scored at 7.5 inches. Okay, that's the next piece. All right. All right, so pockets now. Okay, the pockets come in 2 pieces. The first piece, you need 6 of them, is 5 by 7, and those are not scored. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 by 7 pieces, not scored for the front of the envelopes, or the pockvelope. Technically, it's an envelope and a pocket. Pockvelope, okay? And now for the back of the pockvelope, we have a piece that's 7 by 8.5. We have 6 of these again, and they get scored along the 8.5-inch edge at 2.5 inches and at 7 inches. So 2.5 inches and 7.5 inches. 2.5 and 7.5. Okay. All right. 2.5 and 7.5. 2.5 and 7.5. All right. So once again, the envelopes, the envelopes that go on the very front, this piece right here, you have one piece that's 7 inches by 5, not scored. You need 6 of those. And then the other piece is 7 inches by 8.5, and it's not scored on the 7-inch edge. And on the 8.5-inch edge, it's scored at 2.5 and 7.5. 2.5 and 7.5, and you need 6 of those. All right, so that's it. Those are the 12 pieces for our envelopes. It's 7 by 10, Donna. The whole album altogether is 7 by 10. 7 by 10. Okay, so now we just have our little hinges. Okay, so we need 12 pieces that are 2 inches by 5 inches, scored right down the middle at 1 inch. And we need those for either side of the envelope to close it. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got them. All right, so these are also part of the envelope. So these are the 12 pieces that close the envelopes that go on the front, the pocket envelopes, the pocket envelopes. So I'm going to take that whole stack. So it's the 24 pieces that make the 6 envelopes. I'm going to just take that whole stack. I'm just going to set it to the side because probably what we'll do is we'll make all those envelopes all at once. All right, and then next, we need the hinges that attach the envelope to the page. So we need 6 7-inch hinges and 6 5-inch hinges. So here I have 5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so just score the 5-inch pieces and the 7-inch pieces straight down the middle at 1 inch. All right, wow. We are cooking, getting stuff done. Less than an hour in, and we've already completely designed an album and done most of the construction. Okay. All right, so these also are going to go in the envelope stack because these are how the envelopes get attached to the page. So quite the big stack over there. All right, and then the only pieces we have left are the spine pieces, which are 2.5 inches by 10 inches, and they're going to get scored at 1 inch and 1.5 inches. So 1 inch, 1.5 inches. We need 4 of these because we need 1 more than pages. So if our album was 6 pages, we'd need 7. This album is 3 pages, so we need 4. So see what I mean when I said it's not hard. That's why I said it's a measy album, because it's medium easy. Measy. It's not hard. All right. Now, that is all of our cutting and scoring done. And we are ready to start kind of putting stuff together. So let me just, this notebook is dead. It's almost gone. It can't turn anymore. We're gonna have to replace it. Good thing I have a notebook or two in this place. All right, let's start with the pockets because they're gonna be the most work. Okay. So first thing we want to do is we want to fold along all the score lines and burnish. I'll be burnishing with a pen because all of my pieces or all my bone folders are in the wind. Wait, hold on. Yeah, my bone folder drawer is completely empty of everything except a used sanding pad, sandpaper. So they're somewhere. Oh, I wonder if they're in the low priority tools box. We do have a box labeled low priority tools. Now, you would think that I wouldn't label a box with my bone folders and rulers low priority tools, but at least that makes more sense than nails. So I'm gonna go, as soon as I'm done burnishing all these with that are the same size, so I can just make a little stack of them. The low priority tools probably has the glass mat in it. I'm just gonna go check the low priority tools box real quick. I'll take you with me. All right, let's go check. Let me get a knife and let's go. Okay, so we have tech cart. Wait, we don't have a low priority tools box anymore. Oh, does that mean I unpacked the low priority tools? Because if I tools, oh, fine, I'll look in the nails box. You're so just okay. So there's a box labeled tech cart over here as well. Okay, I found a microphone. I wonder if everything in here is from the tech cart. It's not. It's my bone folders. Oh my gosh, the second thing I checked in the tech cart box. Guess what box they weren't in? The nails box. Box. We'll have to get all right, so this wad of paper was in there in the tech cart box. Now the rulers are another story. We'll just try not to use or need a ruler today. Okay. All right. Usually it's not that easy when we go look for things. By the way, if you're wondering what this is a bar that you put in the Bind It All, which is a machine probably no one uses anymore. But it just nudges the papers, slightly offsets the papers from the spine. So after you've punched your holes for your spine, you put this little metal thing in there, and then you punch your holes for your paper. They'll be a little cleaner looking. But probably everyone just uses the cinch now, right? And I think this is the lid to my berry glue, which I saw but no longer see. So, oh, here he is. Nope, it's not the lid to that. So, mystery. Mystery, mystery. Okay, so. All right. Let me just quickly deal with this. Just need to. I just need to fix this. I was supposed to fix this in the last house, and I didn't. But I'll just fix it now so that it doesn't sit on my desk for another however long. Alrighty. That's fixed. Alright. Just put it. Okay. Apparently it's broken, so this is going to be an ongoing project for me. Fantastic. Okay. Then let's move on. So I did all the 5-inch ones. Now I'm going to do the 7-inch ones. Okay. All right, so here's the 7-inch ones. Here's the 5x7-inch pieces that don't get scored or any of that. And then here's the pieces for the flaps. All right. All right, so this whole stack is the pieces for the pockets that go on the front, the pocket envelopes. So I'm just going to attempt to kind of tidy it. All right, there we go. And that's where we'll start with our construction. So now let's finish our scoring. So these are the pockets, these pieces here. All 3 score lines fold along and burnish. And I'm already thinking that I might want to attach a flap to these as well. And it's okay, we can attach a kind of flap after they're made into a pocket. I'll show you how to do that. So if you ever have a pocket that you have a straight edge all the way across and then you think down the line to yourself, I wish this had a flap, you'll learn how to add a flap to a pocket like that. And I could have planned for this to have a flap in the beginning and incorporated it into the design, but then I wouldn't have had that learning opportunity for you. So that's why I left it off, and that's why we'll be adding it later. Not because I like changed my mind or made a mistake, but it's just I'm always 10 steps ahead, thinking about educational opportunities, you know. So that's why sometimes it seems like I make mistakes, but you know, it's just, I just manufacture them for your benefit because of my generosity of spirit. All right, and then here's the 5x10 page pieces that aren't scored. So the envelope, the pocket, the base page, here's the spine. Again, both sides of the spine. And then we'll do a recording break after this, and then I will do the assembly for the pocket pieces, so you'll be able to see the pockvelope. So you'll be able to see that, and that'll be on its own video. Okay? And for those of you who are watching this in the archives, you'll see all the videos on the same day of the live show. But if you're watching on YouTube, they come out one video per day. So it'll take a few days for them all to come out, but they'll be, if it's not there, you know, today, it'll be there tomorrow. Don't worry about it. All right. So that's it. That's all my pieces cut. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching me live, just hang tight. Nothing's going to change for you. If you're watching in the archive, just go ahead and go to the next video for the next part of the recording. And if you're watching on YouTube, check the playlist. And if it's not there, the video will be there in a day or two. This is Kathryn Scraps Live. My name is Kathryn. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now. All right, so let me just get the recordings going. Uploading on YouTube and whatnot so that you all don't have to wait. I'm going to put it in the archives first and then put it on YouTube. And I'm going to upload the high quality recording to YouTube so that, not the live version, so it'll be a little bit higher quality. So I hope you all are having an amazing day today. What are we calling this? The Measy Spring Album, Spring Pocket Album. We'll call it the Measy Spring Pockvelope Album because that sounds like someone who has lost their mind from unpacking named it. So, you know, accurate. So let's see what's been going on here. I'll give you a little bit of chit chat. Somebody asked me how the cats are doing. They seem to be doing pretty well. So that's nice. Tiny Cat has really come out of her little shell. She is playing more often with Marcel. They're playing their little games, running around the house, doing their weird little tag hide and seek wrestling thing that they do. I don't know. They have yet to share the rules with me. I think it's a little offensive because it sounds like they don't want me to play with them. You know, it's hurtful because if they don't tell me the rules, how can I play with them? You know, so, but you know, I mean, not every activity is for every person or every person. All right, everything is uploading. So let me start a new recording and I will get going. Greetings, Glitter Gang, and welcome back to Kathryn Scraps Live. This is the second part of the April 27th afternoon show. In the first part, we designed an album, cut all the pieces, and did all the scoring. And in this part, I'm going to work on assembling the pockets that we need. So we are making this. We're making a pocket envelope album, a pockvelope album, if you will. So what we're going to be working on in this particular recording is this 5x7 pocket on the front. So that's what we're going to do. All the measurements have been given, are on the recordings in the archives and on YouTube. There is a YouTube playlist you can check if you want to make one yourself. The first video has all the measurements for all the parts, screenshots you can take to, I even hold up my notes that are, of course, wrong. So, you know, but you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Oh, I don't have any tape. Okay, let's think about this. Where did I see Miracle Tape / did I see Miracle Tape? Oh, hello, Miracle Tape. Haha. Me? Well, you can't. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, we need 3/8 inch tape. All right. All right, so I'm going to get 3/8 inch Miracle Tape. You can use Miracle Tape or you can use any pressure sensitive double-sided adhesive. In this case, I'm using Miracle Tape because that's what I like and it's very affordable. But you can use tape or silkwang or, you know, whatever you prefer. Oh, there's the rest of my Miracle Tape. Hey, this is all stuff that goes on my desk. Wow! Is my glitter tool in here? My glitter gang tool? Yes! Success! Oh, my microphone battery charger? Oh! Look at me. Look at me. Like DJ Khaled. All I do is win. All I do is win. Okay. All right, now we are going to, I should buy a lottery ticket. I should. All right. Gonna make a tape bracelet. We're gonna tape all these pieces because these are hinges. You know, we're gonna need to tape them on either side. Is Mary still here? Mary, are you still here? Because the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist was just announced, and I was thinking the book Trespasses you might be interested in. If you haven't heard of it / read it already, check it out. You just read it. That's what I see. How did I sense it was your type of book? Yes. All right. We have been having mostly temperate weather. So interesting to live in a place with temperate weather. So it hasn't been too hot or too cold. It was cold when we first got here. We did have to run the heat when we first got here. Now we're in the phase where we're just on AC pretty much all the time. And we're not bouncing back and forth. But we did have a period where we were bouncing back and forth between them, where sometimes you'd need the heat and sometimes you need the AC. Yeah, so I looked at climate charts for both Augusta and Tampa to kind of compare. And it looks like in the peak of the summer, Augusta will actually be slightly hotter than Tampa. Now, my guess is that while it will be humid, it may not be as humid. And that's just because Augusta is not quite as like low-lying, close to the ocean, you know, etc. as Tampa is. So maybe, but it's definitely should be hotter. So it looks like there's like 2 months out of the year where it's hotter on average over the last 100 years in Augusta than in Tampa. Now we're only talking about, you know, a few degrees, and it's kind of like once it gets really, really hot, you know, when you're at 99% humidity and it's 96 degrees, how much worse is it than 94? You know what I mean? But other than that, it should always be cooler here on average. It looks like. And in terms of climate, there's more variety in Augusta. So Augusta has a cool season in the winter, and then they have a getting warmer season, and then a warm season, and then a hot season, and then a getting cooler season, and then a cool season. So they just have a little bit more variety, whereas in Florida, it's really just hot most of the time, and then there's like a milder season that's kind of the winter, and then it's hot again. But like, you know, the common thing there is that it's like when they say what seasons you have hurricane season and tourist season, because it doesn't really matter. The weather's the same, you know, 8 to 10 months out of the year. So yeah, there was definitely a time when we needed jackets and long pants when we were going out, and even in the house, I had to get some sweaters and little sweatsuits to wear in the house. So it's been very nice. And I Googled when are my trees going to stop putting pine cones all over my yard, and the internet said never. That the pine trees will shed their cones all year long. There's not really a season. They're just going to constantly be shedding their pine cones and pine needles. So there's just always you always just have pine cones. But I did learn, supposedly you're supposed to leave the needles on the grass because the needles hydrate the grass and they're good for the grass. So you're just supposed to leave them where they lie, and you're just supposed to go and pick up all the pine cones and pile the pine cones at the base of the pine trees. And then that will nourish the trees. And then the parts of the pine cone that the tree can't reabsorb through the soil becomes mulch. And eventually you just have this nice pine mulch. So yeah, fire outside, not inside, because one of the things they said is if you do pick up all your pine cones and pine needles, not to store them within 35 feet of the house, because they're so flammable that you don't want them within 35 feet of your house. The cats are currently not allowed in the office, so I don't know how often you'll see them. But basically, you know, because they're so dedicated to getting outside, what we've done is, because this used to be the garage, so there's a door, what used to be the exterior door of the house, which goes from the laundry room into this room, and then there's the actual now new exterior door that goes from here to the outside. So what we've been doing is everyone's been coming in through the office so that, you know, the laundry room is kind of like an airlock. So if the cats like come out with you, you can catch them in the laundry room, you know, instead of in the instead of them getting all the way out. But because of that, they're currently just not coming in the garage at all, because we don't want them in the laundry room at all, because we don't want them getting outside. So I don't know how often you'll see the cats, but they're all pretty happy. Kitty could be happier. I think she'll be happy on Monday. She really misses, we gave our recliners to charity before we left, because they were a little too large in scale for this house, and we thought maybe we'll just sit on the couch. And Kitty just can't stand it, people sitting on the couch. She's just upset that she can't curl up next to people's feet in a recliner. And sometimes she just sits on the floor and stares at us like she's been betrayed, you know, and she'll just sit on the floor next to us, sitting on the couch, and stare at us like, well, where's the thing to put your feet up so I can take a nap on your legs? Why do you guys hate me? So we do have like a ottoman that we had in we've ruined her life. We completely ruined her life. Yeah. So we did, I know, we're so terrible. We're so terrible. So anyway, not just for that reason, because we would not have bought recliners just for Kitty, but, the couch situation is not helping with my back. I've had a lot of pain, particularly neck and shoulder tension, that I think is from sitting on the couch. And I've tried all kinds of different positions and pillow configurations. And I just think, you know, with my arthritis and the other stuff I have going on, I just need to accept that I have to be in a recliner. So we did order some new recliners, and they will be here on Monday. And we figured out a configuration for the living room where we can have the recliners in front of the TV, and then the love seat that forms the L with the couch that's currently our conversation TV watching area can go on the back wall. And then when we're having company over, like if we wanted to have dinner and we wanted to be able to sit in the living room and have like appetizers or whatever, we can swap the recliners in the love seat and put the recliners against the wall. And there's still a path in between the love seat on the wall and the back of the recliners to access like the bookshelf that'll be back there and the cat tree and all of that. So I think it'll be fine. And then Kitty, I'm sure, will be happy. So, I mean, I'm sure in the beginning she'll pretend like she doesn't care and that she didn't actually want to sit on our legs after all. But after a few days, then she'll get over it and then she'll sit with us again. So that's her big complaint. Marcel is maybe a little bored because, you know, he misses being able to climb all over the pool cage and chase lizards and squirrels and such. But Damien's currently using any boxes that come into the house to build him like a cat, sort of like with like a cat condo with tunnels and holes to climb in and out of and stuff like that. It's an expansion of, was it Bev? Were you the one who sent me the whack-a-mole thing for the cats? Because we have actually made them a little whack-a-mole station. So, so Damien's been working on that as his project. And they've just been requesting cat TV a little more often than they used to. So when they're like, and I can tell when they want to watch cat TV because there's this one spot where they all sit in front of the TV, and then I just turn on their videos, and then they watch their videos and attack the TV until they're tired, and then they go take a nap. So I think everyone's kind of settling in. But I did find a chicken run with a roof that was like fox proof on Wayfair for like 200 and something bucks, and I'm thinking about getting it for the cats to be able to have an outside place, because I think that would be, I mean, if a fox can't get in, I assume that means the fox can't dig under it, that there's something that prevents the fox from digging under it, and dogs from digging under it. So, and cats aren't major diggers like that. And like I said, it does have it's fully enclosed, full roof and everything. So, and it says it's like 6.5 feet tall on the walls, so people can stand up because it's a walk-in chicken run. So I don't know. I think I might, because that'll be quicker and easier than a screened porch. And then they'd have at least a little area they can go eat some grass and throw up in. And then they also like to watch all the squirrels. We have a lot of squirrels that live in the cul-de-sac, and they are fat. I mean, they're enormous squirrels. They're the size of cats. So clearly they have no predators. Clearly. So Kitty likes to watch them scamper around. And then she yells at them to get off her yard. All right. Now, on this piece, so these are the 5x7, 7x5s that are the front. These pieces aren't getting, they don't get any tape either. So then, and then on this piece, only this bottom flap gets tape. Yeah, they must be eating well. I did see quite a few people have food gardens. And in fact, the people, I think, who last owned this house, who last lived here, attempted some kind of food garden. Because there are some onions and things growing in the backyard that don't look totally wild, like they're in a galvanized tub in a bed. So maybe the squirrels are just snacking on everyone's gardens. So we'll see. And I eventually want to have some beds for some of the stuff that we eat. Mostly lettuces, but you know, the salad type stuff, lettuces and cucumbers. But I have to do a bunch of research and also like unpack my house first. So, but we're getting there. It's so much better. So I'm happier. But yeah, so Monday, so this weekend we're going to finish the living room and get it ready for the furniture. Now, the furniture was supposed to be delivered on March 31st. And so we're like, okay, well, we have plenty of time. And then yesterday we got a notification that they would be delivered on, or not March 31st, May 31st. And then yesterday we got a notification that they'd be delivered on May 1st. So 30 days early, which is Monday. So we're like, okay, I guess our project this weekend is the living room, because the living room has to be like totally done and ready for the recliners, because once the recliners are in there, we're not going to be able to make any major changes, because it's just going to be like not totally tight. Like you'll be able to walk around with ease, but you won't be able to move furniture with ease. You'll have to move furniture out of the room, you know, to really make big changes. So all right, so now we've taped everything for the pockets. So we'll start working on those. I'm going to set the other pieces that we don't need to the side for the moment. Ah! Going to have to get a new place for you. Already know. Okay. So the table legs, my table legs are closer together because of the new rigging for the lights and the camera, and because of that, the scoreboard and paper trimmer that I normally kept next to the leg of the desk, so I could easily reach down and grab them, are closer to me, which means I keep kicking them over. So all right, so first things first, I'm going to just start cutting all of these pieces apart. So just adjustments to make, but it'll be all good. So we survived the Masters. That was wild. Like, you know, we took everyone's advice and we just tried not to leave the house, but Damien's birthday was during the Masters and wanted to go have Indian food for his birthday dinner. So we made reservations and we left 45 minutes early to go to a place that was 8 minutes away. So we left 45 minutes before our reservation to go to a place that was 8 minutes away. And we got there on time, you all. We got there on time. That's how wild the traffic was. So, and someone in our neighborhood had these like easily $300,000 RVs, Sprinter vans. There was some group of people, they were all driving around together in Sprinter vans, in those Mercedes Sprinter vans that cost like $150,000. I mean, there were very obviously wealthy people in groups, and just in our normal suburban neighborhood. So, yep. Let's see. It rained quite a few times during the Masters, and once lightning struck a tree and 3 trees fell over on the people. So, not on people, but near where people were sitting. But no one was injured, but they did have to suspend play for trees trying to get everyone. So, and I learned all about the controversy with 54 golf and all of this. So there's like, I just now know, so because, you know, Google, because I was in Augusta during the Masters, Google assumed I wanted to know all about the Masters, and I kept clicking on the articles because, you know, I just moved here and I was interested. So, of course, then they kept giving me more. The problem is Google hasn't figured out that I don't care about golf. So it keeps telling me about golf. And I'm like, no, stop telling me about golf. I'm like, don't tell me about golf anymore, Google. Please, you don't need to keep me updated. You don't need to keep me updated. Everyone take a break to hydrate. Okay, now we're going to start the assembly. So on your 5x7 pieces, we're going to need a ruler for this. And I know I just said I need to try not to have a ruler, but I think I'll get through it. I'm going to come down 2 inches on this piece, okay? And I'm just drawing a pencil line for now. Luckily, I do have the ruler that's always in my tool bag because my tool bag was found. So I'm going to come down, yeah, 2. No, I'm going to come down 1.5 inches. Let's come down 1.5 inches, not 2. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to come down 1.5 inches and I'm going to draw a pencil line. And then on the sides, I'm going to come in I'm going to draw lines 1 inch in and 1.5 inches in. And I only am going to need to do this on this one. Because I can use it as a template for all the others. Okay. And then same thing on the other side, 1 inch and 1.5 inches in. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is, okay, so here's my line that goes across, and then I have these 2 lines. I'm going to draw a diagonal line from here to here to connect those 2. Okay. All right, so now I want to just use something round to make a little, I'm just going to use this bottle cap. You can just use a 1-inch punch, you know, whatever you have on hand. All right, and that's going to round that off for me. You can see how I've kind of rounded it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to cut the one side, and then I can use it as a template for the other side. You'll see. Okay, so now you get an idea of the shape. All right, that's going to be my opening for my envelope. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this ruler to cut it, you know, most of the way off. Okay. All right, and then what I can do is I can then go on this piece. Oops. I'm just going to line this one up with another one. Okay. And then I'm going to flip it over so I'm basically doing both sides at once. All right, so now I have one that's just that envelope opening, okay? And I can cut the whole thing. All right. Now I have my perfect one. So I can come back over here on this first one, line them up, and draw it. So you really only need to do the one freehand. Okay. And now I'm just going to tape all of them. Or not tape them, trace and cut. So this is now a template. Well, there's a way to tell Google you're not interested in things. On YouTube, there's a way to say I'm not interested in this type of content, and there's also a way to say don't ever show me this channel again. And I think it's on the video when the video is recommended to you. I think you press like the 3 dots and you can say I'm not interested in this. But on Google, since Google owns YouTube, there's also a way to go into your main Google account and look at what Google thinks your interests are, and you can change them, because you can tell Google that's not something that is an interest of mine, and they'll eventually stop showing you stuff. It does take a minute for it to catch up, but they will stop. I would just, well, Google how to change your interests on Google. Well, maybe you have to be on a PC then. All right. Almost there. All right, and okay, so now all right. We've got those. So the way it's going to work is we're going to attach this to this and then this. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to slice 1/8 of an inch off each of these so that I'm going to cut it off. Do I want to cut off the bottom or the top? I'm going to go ahead and cut off the top. I'm going to slice 1/8 of an inch off just because I want these to be just ever so slightly thinner. So you might make yours 4 7/8 instead of 5. And it doesn't matter if you cut it off the bottom or the top as long as you're consistent about it. Either cut them all off the top or all off the bottom. Okay, there we go. Now, that way, the reason we did that, gave them a little trim, is so at the top they won't be touching that score line, and we'll have, this will just close easier, that's all. Okie dokes. So now what we need to do is we're going to attach these to these. I think I just want to round these corners as well. So let me find the ones that I drew on originally. Here it is. That way I'm only erasing the one. All right. Okay, and then I can trace that on all of them. And then we'll be all good. All right, so that's one, that's two. Now we'll just go through and do all of them. All right, so that's that. So we're still chugging along, but we've made a really big progress. Pretty happy about it. Still work to be done, but thankfully we're moving past the you have to move 30 boxes every time you want to unpack one box stage into being able to pretty much access any box or shelf you need to. Every once in a while, YouTube seems like it's so interesting because every once in a while, YouTube will show me a video and I'm just like, why would you think I would want to watch that? And then I sit there for a second and I'm like, maybe I do. And the one that was like the weirdest serve to me that I was really into was this time when they showed me this gross anatomy school. It was literally just the guy who teaches the gross anatomy class in the lab with the bodies, explaining the different parts of the body. And I was like, you can show dead bodies on YouTube? That was my first immediate reaction. But then immediately, all the information was so interesting. So, because it showed me, the first one it showed me was the Achilles tendon one. And the Achilles tendon was not what I was expecting at all. Not that I spend a lot of time thinking about the Achilles tendon, but it feels skinny, right? Because it's like, look on your back of your leg, it looks all skinny and stuff. It's enormous. It's enormous. And then what was another thing I learned about? Oh, that your stomach, you have like a curtain in your abdomen. There's like, you have this like curtain that like goes over your internal organs, between your internal organs and I guess your muscles and stuff. It's like a little curtain, and they have to lift it up when they do surgery on you and stuff. And they were like showing this curtain and explaining it, and I was like, I would never in a million years have thought we had a curtain inside of us. So, you know, like I just was like, yeah, no, you're right, YouTube. That was interesting. So sometimes YouTube's like, let's just see. Let's just see. Let's just see. Maybe this is a person who wants to take a free gross anatomy class. All right, so that's, see, now it's starting to look like an envelope. Now it's starting to look like an envelope. I went, one time they were like, do you want to watch this doctor from this plastic surgery practice explaining why you shouldn't get under eye filler? And I have literally never considered getting under eye filler, and was like, yeah, I'd like to know why I shouldn't get a thing I was never going to get in the first place and had no interest in. Why not? And then I was like, I'm definitely not getting it now. Just like But what was really interesting about that video is that one of the reasons why they were talking about not getting the under eye filler, is they being this plastic surgeon, is because they were explaining that a recent breakthrough in human anatomy had just been made by a medical examiner on the anatomy of the face, and particularly anatomy of the eye, and what causes if you have the kind of under eye bags, not the puffy ones, but the ones that are like divots, the ones that you get filler for, what causes that, and how filler was never, ever, ever going to work. And that's why people who get the under eye filler have to keep getting it and getting it and getting it, and that's because it doesn't fix the problem. But now that this guy's made this breakthrough in eye anatomy, they're going to be able to develop a product that will like permanently lift those, I don't know, canals, I don't know, whatever. And then you will only have to do it the one time. And I was just like, what blew my mind about that was that we had a breakthrough in human anatomy and the structure of the face. Like I was like, we didn't know before what caused under eye divots. Like how did we not know that? Like how is it not a thing that we didn't know? Oh yeah, Sally Ann, maybe after, I don't know. Although my mom watched knee surgery before her knee surgery, and it helped with her medical anxiety, so you never know. You never know. So, all right, so now, I don't know if you can see it, but you can, I'm not perfectly matched up here. I have a little bit hanging off, so I'm just going to go through and trim any little bits that are hanging off like that so that they're clean. I hope that your surgery goes well and fixes your pain if you're in pain, which I assume you are if they're doing that surgery. But yeah, so I don't know. I just thought it was, first of all, really amazing that we're still making breakthroughs in how the body is put together. And then also the Achilles tendon. That thing is enormous. It's enormous. And that's not its name. It has a different official name. All right. Fran says now I need to look it up. Those growth anatomy videos were so interesting, honestly. And if like gore bothers you, those bodies are not juicy. I don't know, you know, like they look more like models than people, you know what I mean? So it's not gory or whatever, you know. So it's not scary, I guess, is what I was gonna say. So yeah. Okay, so now that we've got this far, what we need to do next is get the two side pieces on. We'll attach them here and here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them. How many do I need? 12? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I'm going to trim them down to 4 3/4. So that I don't have to be as as careful. I have plenty of room. And I don't have to worry about the envelope being able to open or not. So we'll get these on so that our envelopes are done. And then that's where we'll pick up when we come back. Oh my gosh, so much accomplished in our first class back despite my limitations. I'm pretty happy. I hope you're all happy and having a good time. All right, so well, my surgery that I had when it was described to me after the fact was disturbing enough that I think there's some surgeries you definitely don't want to see. Like, you know, the type of surgery I had where they have to remove all your internal organs to get to other internal organs that are in the back, kind of a situation. I don't know, I found tools. We really accomplished a lot. And they just like, so there's some that are probably really awful to look at compared to others. But yeah, that anatomy class was very interesting. And especially they were showing an Achilles tendon that had been partially ruptured, right? So they showed one that where they're like, where the person would have felt it and it would have hurt them, but not bad enough that they would have sought medical care. And they said, but then it would have for like the rest of their life bothered them. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, well, I was going to just chomp the corners, but guess what? nothing in my chomper drawer, but I do have a box labeled punches. So let's see if the chompers are in the box labeled punches. It doesn't look like it. It looks like these are punches. So what we're missing, if I don't have my rulers, my bone folders, what we're missing is a box clearly of stuff from my drawers. Somewhere there's a box of the stuff that was in my drawers that I still need to discover. Maybe it's in the 4x2 tools. No, this is really just tools from my 4x2 Expedite, so this is actually accurately labeled. Really, I just need a corner chomper. Just one little chompy chomp. I just want to do one little chompy chomp. One little chomp. Man, probably in the tech box because that's where the bone rollers were. Let's go look in the tech cart box. That would make the most sense. All right. Oh, yeah. Well, here's my Martha Stewart photo corner punch, which is in the same drawer. So maybe, friends, maybe. My Misty. What else is in here? Oh my gosh, my rulers! Okay. None of these are corner chompers, but they are all things that are corner chomper adjacent. A bacon press. Okie dokie. What are you? My backup Martha Stewart photo corner punch. Okay. Oh, this feels corner chompery. Please be the large round corner chomper. Be the blue one. Be the blue one. Be the blue. It's the white one. And what have I got? The blue one! Yay! I hope you all enjoyed this impromptu ASMR with the rustling paper noises. Of course, I backed myself to a corner here because I had to move something to get out. Now it's blocking my way out of this area. So earlier when I said I don't think we I think we're done with the stage where we have to move things, I was incorrect. We're not quite done with that stage. Ow, that kind of hurt my wrist. It's probably fine. All right, I'm coming back. Ugh. The problem is I have to move all this stuff one-handed now because I have my hands full of the stuff I discovered. So okay. Some good stuff, friends. That is some good stuff. I'm putting the paper in a paper recycling bag, so that's what this noise is. It's almost over. Okay. Whew. All right, so we've got a bacon press. We've got the mat that goes under the mat for when I need to do messy stuff. We've got the Misty. We have got all my rulers. We've got the white corner chomper, the Martha punch, and the blue corner chomper, which is the one that I wanted. My centering ruler. Okay. Great work. All right, so now we're just going to chomp. I'm just going to chomp one. Oh, this is not the one that I wanted. This is the other blue one. Okay, I think the angle punch is, the white one will work just fine. Because I just want to get the corner so the corner is not going to poke up. So I'll just use this one. And it'll be good enough. Whew. Well, I see that we've gone over, but we'll just keep going until we've attached all these. Okay. All right, so what I want to do is I want to attach them to, yeah, see that corner is good enough. I want to attach them to the back of this front piece. I'm not going to attach both sides because I still want to be able to trace this for my pattern paper and stuff. So I'm going to attach it just to the front, but not to the back. Okay. Apparently the battery died while I was looking. Okay. So I'm just centering this. I don't know how much you heard, but I've chomped these corners so they won't poke up past this curve. And then this is an eighth. This is 4 3/4 now. And then this piece is 4 7/8. So this is an eighth of an inch smaller. So I'm just centering it in between the top of this and the score line. So it's not touching the score line and it's not touching the top. All right. Okay. Luckily, I just found, I don't know if y'all heard, because I don't know where you lost sound, but I just found the battery charger for the batteries for the microphone. So, all right, so what I'm doing is I'm putting these on just the front, but not on the back in case for decorating purposes, it's going to be, I think it'll be easier for decorating if we can still open it. We'll work on that tonight, perhaps. If we get far, oh, you had sound until I started attaching the hinges. Well, that's not bad. You didn't lose it that long ago then. And we're over by quite a lot, but you know, we'll just keep going until we've attached all these hinges to these pieces. And then we will come back tonight and continue our construction, assembly, etc. But you, I think, should by now get the idea of how these are going to be, you know, how these are coming together, these envelopes. And we will be back tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern USA time, which is roughly 4 hours and 45 minutes from now. So whatever time it is where you are now, I'll be back in 4 hours and 45 minutes. So glad to see all of you again. Glad to be crafting again. Hopefully anything that I haven't found that I need for tonight, I'll find pretty easily. And it won't be too rough. So this evening, but I think this is going to be a cute one. This project, Bright and Happy. And that's the last one. Okay, so that's where I'm going to call it for now. Like I said, I'll be back in 4 hours and 45 minutes. I'll be back at 9 p.m. Eastern USA time. If you're watching this in the archives or in the YouTube playlist, you know, either check the folder or check the playlist for more videos in this series. This is the Measy Pockvelope album, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye now.